Starting off this list at number 10, we have Amanda Bynes. The actress that starred in classic teen movies like Easy A, She's the Man, and Hairspray quit acting at the young age of 24. The decision to quit acting actually came from her personal struggle with her appearance. Amanda did not enjoy watching herself on the big screen and decided to quit acting altogether because of it. After appearing in the film Easy A, her role was met with raves of positive reviews, yet this was the moment that Amanda decided she was going to quit for good. The former actress states that watching herself in that film changed her perception on things of herself and ultimately led to the decision to retire. That being said, the actress is still hopeful for the future of beginning to start acting again after her decade-long hiatus. However, we have also seen a lot of things in the news, obviously with the law, her mental health, so we really won't know. I hope she comes back. She's honestly one of my all-time favorites. Yes. That's all. I'm just excited because I hope she comes back one day. Moving on to our 9th spot, we have the infamous John Travolta. John was one of Hollywood's biggest stars back in the day, but we haven't seen him star in any films recently. Let's be honest. The actor seemed to have faded out after some roles that didn't get the public's attention. The now retired actor pronounced his time in Hollywood is over after his wife lost her battle to cancer. John stated that he would be taking time off for his children and to properly grieve, as he should. And a single dad now, Travolta decided to dedicate his time to raising and supporting his kids and left the spotlight to fill this role, and I give him full props for doing that. He had a very long, successful career, guys. How old is he now anyway? I feel like he's up there, no? I'm not trying to call him old, but like, he's had a long career. Filling the 8th role on this list is Cameron Diaz. In the early 2000s, Cameron's career was at its peak. She helped anchor franchises like Charlie's Angels and Shrek, while simultaneously featuring in some of the biggest films at the time. Honestly, during that time, she was appearing in every single movie. Like, she was everywhere. She ended up starring in films that were flops in the box office, and the actress hasn't been able to find a remarkable role in a while. Let's be honest. Her 25-year-long acting career came to a close when she officially stated that she will be retiring from the big screen, which was very disappointing for fans like me. She ultimately made the decision because she wanted to focus more on herself, because when acting, she was unable to dedicate that kind of time to herself. Also, if you want a life update, she's now a mom. She's also married, and she has her own wine that just came out recently. I saw it online. So she's still doing things, just off the screen. Quickly going to the next spot at number 7, we have Gene Hackman. The actor spent most of his life in the spotlight as his career in acting started in the 60s. Gene has made a name for himself by starring in around 80 movies featuring classics such as Bonnie and Clyde. His last role was in 2004, but he has since officially retired from acting, and he announced that back in 2008. The retired actor stated his leave from the spotlight was due to health conditions, as he felt very fatigued in the industry. As he was in his 70s at the time, the actor said that he was advised by doctors to not continue to act or put himself under any stress. Exploring other routes to spend his time, he is now a historical fiction author with several books titled to his name. With his time on the big screen coming to an end at the age now of 91, the former actor continues to give his fans something to look forward to with his books. Swiftly moving down the countdown, at number 6 we have Nikki Blonsky. The actress debuted her acting career when she starred in Hairspray. The cult classic film Hairspray seemingly set Nikki up for success in the industry, as it was wildly praised. Honestly, one of my favorites. Though the opposite seemed to happen, as Nikki wasn't able to secure any remarkable roles since her debut in that movie. She confessed that she didn't purposely leave Hollywood, but that it felt as if Hollywood left her. The actress has dreamt to be a successful full-time actor since she was a kid, but the industry just seemed to have other plans. Nikki felt as if she got typecasted in her character in Hairspray, as she was a plus-size actor. Her colleagues Zac Efron, Brittany Snow, and John Travolta all had projects lined up after filming Hairspray, but Nikki was just not as fortunate. Moving on from acting because of the lack of opportunities that she faced, she got her cosmetology license and is now a hairstylist and makeup artist. But she has made it clear that her work as a hairstylist is just temporary until she's able to just make her way back into acting. I feel for her, that's sad. Taking the halfway mark at number 5 is the former Disney star actor Dylan Sprouse. Now don't get him confused with his twin brother Cole Sprouse, as Cole has actually starred in multiple movies and TV shows, including the very familiar Netflix show Riverdale. Dylan and Cole won over millions of fans with their Disney show The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, but after the show came to a close, Cole seemed to continue his career in acting, though Dylan had other plans. Dylan has stated that he has no interest in being on TV and that his brother Cole has a very hard job that he just wouldn't be happy doing. Dylan has also starred in one movie since his Disney star life, but besides that, the former actor decided to dedicate himself to university, where he studied video game design. But his degree wouldn't take to his new career, as during college he found a passion for brewing his own mead. Therefore, since graduating university, the former actor has established his very own business in meadery and actually owns his own brewery, which I think is so cool. And apparently if you go there, you might see him there sometimes. Taking the countdown by storm at number 4 is held by the child star Mara Wilson. You probably know her for her role in Matilda or Miss Doubtfire, but have you ever wondered where the promising young actress went? I always wondered, until I started this job and I found out. Well, she played numerous characters as a child star, and instead of continuing her acting career, she backed away from the industry at the young age of 13. Moving on to the future, in 2016, she became a writer and released an autobiography depicting her accidental fame, as she called it. The book highlighted the now retired actress and her struggle with growing older and feeling as if her appearance didn't fit the Hollywood standard. Furthermore, in her book, she states that at 13 she was faced with a decision to get cosmetic surgery, audition for cute and funny friend characters, or just accept herself and give up her acting career for good. And well, we all know what decision she made because I already said it. Now she's a full-time writer and director and has chosen a whole new life for herself. Moving on to one of the top 3 spots at number 3 is Jack Gleason. The former actor has only been part of a handful of roles, but one of them includes the fan favorite TV series Game of Thrones. Jack played one of the main characters in the series from 2011 to 2014, but hasn't played in anything since. Due to the success of the show, Jack had the opportunity of acting for a living full time, but decided against it for very understandable reasons. In a statement made in an interview, Jack said that he stopped because he wasn't enjoying it as much as he used to. He mentioned that acting used to be something he did for fun with his friends or sometimes in the summer. It was once something that he very much enjoyed, but when you make a living from something, it kind of just changes your relationship with it sometimes. So once his time on Game of Thrones came to an end, he felt some sort of relief and just decided that his acting career would come to an end altogether. After his retirement, he went on to study philosophy in Dublin. Coming in our second place, we have Daniel Day-Lewis. The talented British actor has won 3 Oscars, all for Best Actor, 4 BAFTA awards, and has even been knighted by Queen Elizabeth II. But his acting days in Hollywood are over after his representative released a statement in 2017 stating that Daniel will no longer be working as an actor, adding that it was a private decision and that he will not be making any further comments on the subject. This statement was released after receiving his 3rd and final Oscar for his role in Phantom Thread. So it came as a surprise, because he just won. After being silent on the matter for quite some time, Daniel would later confess in an interview that quitting acting was something he had to do. This was due to overwhelming amount of sadness he faced while working on the film Phantom Thread. He even acknowledged that before making the film, he had no intention of quitting, so it's basically the movie's fault. Daniel also mentioned that he still can't quite figure out exactly what triggered him to quit for good after that movie, but said that he just needed to start to believe in the responsibility and values of what it means to be an actor. Now, being retired for a few years, he feels a different type of sadness, but in a good nostalgic way, he says, when looking back at his acting days. He could come back at any moment, really, right? You can leave and come back. Making our way to number 1 is Janet McCurdy. Former child star, played a leading role in Nickelodeon show iCarly and would move on to co-star on Sam and Cat alongside Ariana Grande. That being said, her acting career would not go further beyond Nickelodeon, and it came to an end in 2014. Though it was short-lived, she had a very successful career in Hollywood, but confessed that she resented it. This resentment was due to many factors. Firstly, it was because she started acting at 6 years old, which she was put into acting by her mom, and by by 10, she was the main financial support of her family. She never wanted to be in the industry, but forced herself to continue because she felt pressured to do so for the well-being of her family. The former actress grew extremely unhappy, especially when she was at the peak of her career. When she initially made the decision to call it quits, her agents and managers said that she would be crazy to leave during such a high part in her career, but she stuck to her word and she hasn't looked back since. With the 2021 reboot of her show iCarly, she still would not get involved, which fans were genuinely surprised by. But thankfully, after announcing her retirement, she went on to become a writer and director, giving her a lot more satisfaction in her career. Starting off the list number 10, we have Danny Lloyd. If you've ever seen the horror film The Shining, then you're probably familiar with the young boy in the movie who was played by Danny Lloyd. The former young actor that starred in The Shining, that would actually be his first and second last time at acting altogether. Though the young actor continued to audition with roles, he found no success from them. He only appeared in one more project before retiring from acting at the age of 13 after being rejected multiple times for other roles, he says. But looking back on his short-lived acting career, he said he does not regret trying acting or quitting acting. So what is he up to these days? Danny is a 48-year-old biology professor and a father of 4 kids. If you saw him today, you definitely wouldn't recognize him as the kid from The Shining, but he does not mind that. Quickly moving along to spot number 9, we have Jennifer Stone. The former actress is known for her role on Disney Channel's Wizards of Waverly Place, but she also starred in Disney Channel original movies and also got a handful of roles outside of Disney, including Mean Girls 2 and House. That being said though, in 2013, the actress was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes and chose to pursue a career in nursing instead. She says her complete career change was due to the fact that she always loved science, which many people didn't know. The former actress hopes to inspire others to make the disease more talked about. She is currently a retired actress who has been fighting on the front lines of this coronavirus throughout this whole pandemic, so some would say she has been a hero on screen and in person. Taking the number 8 spot on this list is Jake Lloyd. You may not know the young actor just by his name, but you will definitely know the character he played as he starred as the young Anakin Skywalker in the original Star Wars movies. The child actor played in the iconic film franchise of Star Wars at just 8 years old and was picked for the role out of 3,000 candidates. Talk about a win! The young star formerly acted in other roles, but nothing that gave him as much fame and recognition like Star Wars did. Even though this seemed like a good thing, Jake says he was relentlessly bullied in school because of his acting, which led him to resent being in the spotlight because he knew it would have been met with even more bullying when he went back home. So he officially retired from acting in 2001 because of this. He went on to study film and psychology but dropped out after just 1 semester. And throughout his 20s, he stayed out of the spotlight up until 2015 when he made headlines for being arrested for reckless driving. This would not be his only run-in with the law, as he had multiple offenses against him. More recently, he had been officially diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, and he continues to struggle with his mental health. He actually moved closer to his family, who is adamant about helping him and supporting him on his road to recovery. So it does have a happy ending. Hopefully, and thankfully. Swiping through the ranks, we get to our 7th spot with well-known actor and comedian Adam Sandler. The actor, who is famously known for his funny guy persona, hence the comedian part, has claimed to be one of the most overpaid actors. Adam used to be a comedic leading man in many movie hits, but with time, everyone seemed to just be done with him in movies, I feel. His more recent films have been claimed by critics to be historically terrible, which definitely has not helped his acting career by any means. Over time, Adam's fans seem to grow up and out of finding his type of comedy funny. The actor's roles were seen as very repetitive, and he hasn't stepped out of his comfort zone when it comes to picking new roles. Additionally, his hate for the press, social media, and interviews has also kept his name out of the spotlight, which definitely didn't help his career in acting. With Adam's comedy being overdone, not seeing him in fresh roles, and Adam's name out of the media, it ultimately led to the downfall of his acting career. With 55 years of acting under his belt, Adam decided to retire for good. This comes from Adam stating himself that he doesn't find being an actor fun anymore. Although, let's be honest, his movie roles were very repetitive. Continuing down the list, number 6, we have Brendan Fraser. Like most celebrities on this list, Brendan's career skyrocketed in the early 2000s, and he found himself as a major leading man in many films. That being said, his roles would slowly decline, and several films that he would star in would miss the mark in Hollywood. Additionally, he was faced with time out of the spotlight to recover from multiple surgeries due to him getting hurt while working on set and doing his own stunts. This recovery would cover a 7-year period, causing the roles for him to be able to take to be very limited. The actor would also later reveal that while working, he was assaulted, and this incident would deeply affect the actor. And in the end, this incident was the deciding factor for the actor to retire from acting for good and give up his very high-profile lifestyle. Halfway through, we have Mike Myers. The actor and comedian has starred in numerous top films including Austin Powers, Wayne World, and the Shrek franchise. The star's rise to fame came from his involvement in Saturday Night Live and seemingly continued going upwards from there. Though former colleagues of Myers have come forward to say that he was a diva on set and a nightmare to work with. This type of temperamental behavior definitely did not help his case as the leading man in Hollywood, but it definitely was not the only factor that influenced his acting decline. Myers would be featured in multiple films that were wildly unsuccessful, not to mention the lawsuits against him from Universal Studios against citing issues with his script. From there, Mike Myers' place in Hollywood has seemed to come to a close for the multiple issues of citing, being a diva on set, and just not taking on the right roles. He's had some, what's the word, flops, movie flops. I forget the last one I'm thinking of. It was a romantic comedy. The Guru one, yes. Yeah, that bombed. Big time. Moving on to number 4 on this countdown. It's actually 2 people, but it kind of counts as one. It is Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. The Olsen twins started their acting career from the very well-known TV show Full House. They moved on to continue their acting career to release numerous movies together after that. The twins decided to prioritize their education and actually went to college in early 2000, and afterwards their acting career came to a halt. The twins decided it would be best to move on from acting as they did not have much creative control in the industry. And even though the twins are best known for their acting roles, they didn't really even feel like actors at all. Now, the twins have launched their own clothing lines and are actually highly praised designers. With being in a more behind-the-scene career and having full creative freedom in that field, the sisters are happier than ever and have actually won awards from the Council of Fashion Designers in America. Rolling into one of the top spots, number 3, we have Meghan Markle. This one may seem obvious, but it wasn't for Meghan, as leaving the acting industry to become a duchess wasn't initially in her future plans. Before her claim to royalty, Markle was a well-known actress and wildly familiar for her role in the TV show Suits. The actress was well-rounded in the industry and took on all kinds of roles in her time as an actress. She also starred in the classic rom-com Remember Me, the comedy Horrible Bosses. If you don't remember that, I saw it the other day and I was like, whoa, forgot she was in it. 90210 and Castle. Though after being set up on a blind date by a mutual friend, true story, in 2018 the well-established actress left the industry to marry Prince Harry and become the Duchess. With her current royal duties and being a mother taking up majority of her time, the Duchess has also established a charity foundation. Additionally, the former actress has been seen in film and TV, but only for projects associated with her role as a Duchess and her life as a royal. I have a feeling she'll come back, y'all. But give her some time, she's a mom. Or she might never, who knows. Taking the number 2 spot is Gwyneth Paltrow. Former actress filled roles in TV shows and movies such as Iron Man, Glee, Spider-Man, and The Avengers. With a long-lasting career in the film industry and many well-known roles, the actress called it quits in 2020, very recently. Gwyneth stated her leave from the industry was due to many different reasons such as her own life, family, and brand. That being said, her absence from the spotlight was mostly due to the harassment that she faced from her colleagues and superiors for being a woman in the industry. The former actress acknowledged that the shine of acting wore off for her over time and she was just tired of facing public criticism. The constant hustle of the industry, traveling and being in unfamiliar places without her family, just no longer appealed to her. Now she is a very successful business owner who enjoys simpler things such as cooking, spending time with her kids, and spending time with old friends. Last but not least, our number 1 spot is going to Jennifer Lawrence. You may know her from Silver Lining Playbook, Passenger, or even her role in the X-Men universe, but you definitely know her from the iconic Hunger Game movies. Fame came fast for Jen, and she had to drop out of middle school in order to dedicate herself to act full-time. At one point, she was the most recognizable face in Hollywood and was more visible than ever in the peak of her career. The actress even made Oscar history and was part of the biggest films during her era. Though with time, she began taking on projects that didn't do so well with critics. Starring in films after fading out of the spotlight and not taking on many roles, Jennifer returned to the scene in 2018 to make an appearance for the big budget project Red Sparrow, though this was met with very negative reviews from critics. Aside from her short appearance in the X-Men franchise in 2019, Jen hasn't taken on any roles since. When asked about her lack of acting roles, she stated at the time that she decided to take a break because she didn't want to be a machine in the industry anymore. Her focus as of right now is on her future baby, as she just announced her pregnancy earlier this year. Also, she's in a movie coming up. I saw her in a trailer. In something, I forget. Starting off this countdown at number 10, we have Phoebe Cates. At the peak of her career in the 80s, she would be cast in over 20 movies and was best known for starring in Gremlins and Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Fame came fast for the former actress, and with her new and busy career, she was thriving in the industry. So while being at the top of your career, why would you all of a sudden just end it at such a young age? Well, it turns out she was more concerned with motherhood than anything, and after trying to be a mother of 2 and a full-time actress, Phoebe decided to become a full-time mom instead. It has been 30 years since leaving the big screen, and overall she's actually kept a very low profile while also opening up her own boutique in New York City. So apparently, rumor has it that if you actually go to her boutique, you might see her in there. Moving along to the next spot at number 9 is Terrence Howard. The American actor has starred in numerous films and TV shows, but you'll probably recognize him most from the movie Iron Man or the TV series Empire. Once Terrence finished his role in the 5-year running show Empire, he vowed that he would never act again. He said that quitting acting meant that he didn't need to pretend anymore, and even though his future plans were unknown, he knew he wanted to focus on bringing truth to the world. Terrence would later go on more in depth of the truth of his retirement, where he says that he spent 37 years in the industry pretending to be people that he isn't. He began making discoveries of his personal life and goals, and he believes that he would rather be teaching the truth rather than fictional. A little vague of an explanation, but whatever makes him happy. I'm still not understanding the truth part. Like, let us know the truth rather than saying I want to speak the truth, you know? Moving on to number 8 is Rick Moranis. The Canadian actor may not ring a bell until you hear that he was the main character in the childhood classic Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Legendary movie. I love that movie. That was so fun. His acting career was filled mostly by 80s comedy movies, as he starred in Ghostbusters, The Flintstones, and Parenthood. Having a successful career in the industry and well-known movies under his name, he would suddenly just disappear from the acting scene, and no one really knew why at the time. The sudden retirement was sadly due to the death of his wife, who passed away from cancer. Because of this, Rick would completely shift his time to dedicate himself to raising his 2 children, and he became a stay-at-home dad. The hiatus was only supposed to be a break, but eventually the break led to him not working on any movies ever since then. The former actor confesses that he does miss the people and nature of the film industry, as parenting is just a very different lifestyle, but he made it clear that he has no regrets about his career decisions. Moving up the countdown, number 7 is Jeff Cohen. He was known as the child actor who played a leading role in The Goonies. The film was a hit and turned into a classic of the era, and it continues to find new fans each year. Many agree that Jeff Cohen, who played Chuck in the movie, could not have been more perfect for the role. After the wide success of The Goonies, Jeff went on to find minor roles in films, but just wasn't able to find his place in Hollywood with a lack of opportunities. As the years went by, he seemed to just kind of make a quiet exit from Hollywood altogether. With little to no roles seeming to fit him, he decided to move career paths but stay within the industry, just out of the spotlight. He now works in the industry as an entertainment lawyer. After attending UC Berkeley and UCLA, he is at his own law firm in Beverly Hills. He revealed that he decided to become an entertainment lawyer because he is able to protect his clients the way he wanted to be protected as a kid in Hollywood. Look Look at the irony of that. Taking up the 6th spot on the countdown, we have Freddie Prinze Jr. The former actor was a leading man in the classic films from the 90s, such as She's All That, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and even Fred in the live-action Scooby-Doo movies. But honestly, you probably know all of this. Everyone knows Freddie Prinze Jr. Freddie started his acting career because a good friend of his, Brian Austin Green, recommended him for a role on the Punky Brewster revival, and his career in Hollywood just began to grow. That being said, it seems like his time in the spotlight is officially over, because in a recent episode of The Kelly Clarkson Show, the 44-year-old states that he is done with acting and he wants to focus his time on raising his 2 kids. In addition, his outlook on acting changed since he started, as he just kind of got over the spotlight and everything that comes with it. Freddie says he knew it was time for him to just move on from that. With all this new time on his hands, when he isn't spending time with his kids, he's focusing on his passion for cooking. He actually has cookbooks out, which is so random to me. At the halfway mark, at number 5 is Sarah Michelle Gellar. The former actress was a major star during the peak of her career when she starred in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Scooby-Doo. Funny enough, if you didn't know, Sarah Michelle Gellar is actually married to Freddie Prinze Jr. Her Scooby-Doo co-star turned husband as the 2 of them navigated through Hollywood together, which I find adorable. The duo achieved an impressive degree of film and TV stardom in their 20s. Similar to her husband though, she is deeply committed to her children and decided to take a step back from Hollywood to raise her kids. The retired actress now focuses her time on her family, but also her co-owned healthy baking company. She says she found an attraction to healthy baking when her kids took interest in the hobby. Besides being a full-time mom and business owner, Sarah finds time to take part in a great amount of charity work still and volunteers at UCLA Mattel Children's Hospital. Taking the number 4 spot is notorious actress Katherine Heigl. The actress used to be sought after and filled many major movie roles, but those times have ended. This is because many who have worked directly with Katherine have claimed that she is a nightmare to deal with on set. She would apparently always have wardrobe issues, wouldn't get out of the trailer, questioned her script, and ultimately would cost extra time every single day of shooting for how difficult she was. Some even confessed that she was so rude to them that she would swear at the people working alongside her and cause drama on set. Additionally, she slammed her role in Grey's Anatomy for not liking the writing and wanted out of her contract. After her reputation turned sour, Katherine tried desperately to return to Grey's Anatomy, but was turned down by the showrunners for how rude she was, and they weren't gonna put up with it, basically. Katherine's reputation took a turn for the worst, and despite her talent for acting, Hollywood will not consider her for any big roles anymore for her unwanted behavior. Getting to our 3rd spot, we have the teenage heartthrob Taylor Lautner. Taylor sought instant stardom for his role in the Twilight franchise, as the Twilight series was a global phenomenon that turned all of its actors into major stars. Throughout the years that the Twilight series would continue, Lautner was kept afloat in Hollywood because of the movie. Though once the series was over, the actor had a difficult time finding a place in the industry. In an interview, the actor stated that he felt restricted after the Twilight series and wanted to try something new. Though he felt his acting abilities were defined by Twilight and would never be able to move past it. And Taylor would eventually be unable to find his name in any other successful films and would turn to TV roles to fulfill his acting career. Honestly, I literally have not seen him since Twilight, and then he did that romantic comedy with Taylor Swift, really weird. I haven't seen him in anything. Maybe I don't watch enough TV though. You guys tell me. Is he on TV? Moving up the rankings, number 2, we have Shia LaBeouf. Now this one's kind of a debate, because some people think he'll make a comeback and some people think he won't. Let's dig into it though. The promising young actor seemed to be just getting his foot in the door with acting after moving from a Disney star to fulfill his leading role in the Transformers series. Though after years in the spotlight, the actor's ego began to get the better of him when his off-screen behaviors became a liability. As Shia would also be known in the industry to be difficult to work with and would occasionally be considered off-putting by his colleagues. Not to mention all the legal issues. As well, during this time, the actor's name would be all over controversial headlines for inflicting emotional distress, assault, dangerously driving, and animal cruelty. Not to mention the multiple sexual offenses that he would be sued for. This was more recently. This shocking behavior would not go unnoticed in the industry, as he would find it a lot harder to secure roles these days. The Transformers franchise would even go so far to replace him and his leading roles in the series. Eventually though, everyone at this point in time has basically blacklisted him from Hollywood, so I'm interested to see if he's gonna be welcomed back. And finally, taking our number 1 spot is Tobey Maguire. The actor is best known for his iconic portrayal in the original Spider-Man films, but we haven't seen him prosper afterwards despite the success of the Spider-Man movies. With the final film in the Spider-Man trilogy being considered lackluster and the worst film out of all of them, this did not set up Tobey Maguire to succeed. Therefore, Tobey would have a difficult time finding roles after the Spider-Man franchise. It also didn't help that he was notorious for being picky when it came to his roles. The actor has confessed that he is very selective when it comes to the roles he takes on and has trouble finding projects that he actually wants to work on. Also, Tobey is known for having issues on set with multiple co-stars, including James Franco, who could never see eye to eye with him. Over the years of not being able to find success in acting, Tobey would move towards producing instead. This move towards producing instead of acting seemed like a good idea because Tobey was known for his introverted personality and struggle in the spotlight. But his producing career fell short, with his projects not succeeding in the box office. With Tobey's acting career being at its height during the Spider-Man era and not being able to succeed outside of this franchise, the reboot starring Andrew Garfield and now Tom Holland meant the end of his career in many ways. Taking the first spot on the countdown at number 10 is Frankie Muniz. You may remember him as the title character in Malcolm in the Middle, though Frankie has played in many roles throughout his acting career. The child star actor even scored himself an Emmy and Golden Globe nomination for his TV success. That being said though, in 2001, at the age of 16, Frankie became very interested in racing cars. So he decided to put his acting on pause for the time being to focus on his newfound love for racing, and he became a full-time race driver. A lot of people don't know that. If that was not shocking enough, in 2009, Frankie suffered from multiple injuries from a crash that forced him to stop racing, and he was unable to return to the big screen at that point, and he kinda just chose not to. As of now, in 2021, the former actor owns his own specialty shop with his wife, and he is just focusing his time on his wife and their new family. I forgot about him, but he was iconic. Big Fat Liar, anyone? Continuing along to our next spot on this countdown at number 9 is Kevin Jonas. The actor and musician is best known for his time spent at Disney, with him and his 3 brothers, the Jonas Brothers, who had their own TV series at one point, and they still perform tours now. With the brothers moving and starting a new career outside of Disney and the band, they all seem to go down their own path. Joe Jonas would continue to act and form a new band called DNCE, and Nick Jonas would also continue to make music, but also was focusing on his acting career. A lot of people wondered where Kevin went. Kevin's other 2 brothers continued to make their way in the music and acting industry, but Kevin didn't feel the same need to. Kevin, being the eldest brother, was more focused on his family and decided that leaving the spotlight would be best for him at that time, and so he made his way to immerse himself in development and real estate business. He's also a dad and a husband, and his little girls are really freaking cute. Moving on, holding the 8th spot is the 80s teenage heartthrob Michael Schoeffling. The actor took up many roles in the 80s, but is best known for starring in the classic 16 Candles. His role in 16 Candles set him up to be the next most famous leading man in Hollywood, but that was not the case. After appearing in 8 movies after 16 Candles, Michael called it quits. The former actor called it quits so suddenly, mostly for the fact that he just wasn't enjoying it, plus the lack of roles that were there for him during that time. With little roles that he thought suited him, it was an easy decision to retire, as there were many other factors that have led him towards that decision. He revealed that he just grew bored in the film industry and knew it wasn't for him. From there, the retired actor became a carpenter and now spends his time prioritizing his family and his kids. I guess his family is his kids, but anyways. Moving on to the next celebrity on this list, at number 7 we have Karen Parsons. The retired actress is most known for her beloved character on the culture-defining show Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. After the show ended in 1996, it would have been likely that fans would follow Karen to her other acting endeavors, but she seemingly wasn't able to find success in any other roles. After constant devastation and little to show for it, she grew very frustrated and eventually would lose her passion for acting, making her just move on to other things. She started working for a non-profit foundation called The Sweet Blackberry, which is a charity that is determined to teach children about Black history heroes. through films. In 2019, she also released a children's novel called How High the Moon, and then in 2020, another book called Flying Free. Moving on to the next spot at number 6 is Peter Ostrom. You might not know Peter just by his name, but you'll definitely know him from his iconic role in the 1971 Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory as he played the main character, Charlie. After filming finished, the child star would be offered a 3-movie part deal, but Peter did not sign the contract. Peter's role in Willy Wonka would be his first and his last, as he would decide to quit his acting career right before it took off at the age of 12. The quick decision would be made simply because he just fell in love with a different profession, I guess, or passion at the time since he was 12. The former child star enjoyed watching veterinarians at work on the animals that his family had, and because of this experience, it single-handedly changed his future as he became a veterinarian himself. Giving up the spotlight to become a veterinarian may seem like an odd decision, but acting was just not his passion, he says, and he found that career passion with being a veterinarian. Damn, he really chose horses over Willy Wonka movies. Taking the halfway spot at number 5 is Angus T. Jones. You may not recognize the name because, I wouldn't, but you definitely know him as the kid from the sitcom 2.5 Men. He played in the show from 2003 all the way to 2013, and it seemed like we watched him basically grow up, as he started the show at just 9 years old, and when he left the show he was 19. At one point in 2010, he was the highest paid child star in television, so it may come as a shock to you when he left just a few years later. The real reason that the young star left the show in Hollywood in general was because he became very dedicated to his faith and actually started slamming the TV show for how vulgar it was. He was in a moral conflict by being on the show because he just didn't feel that it followed his religion. So he eventually called it quits because of his religious beliefs and became a more normal young adult by attending college. The former actor would go on to study environmental studies, but would later transfer his major to Jewish studies. Now, the former child star is living in LA and is working as president of an event entertainment company. Moving on to number 4, we have Ariana Richards. The former child star rose to fame after her role as Lex Murphy in the Jurassic Park movie series. There are few movies from the 90s as iconic as Jurassic Park, and Ariana won an award for Best Young Artist for her role in that franchise. After starring in such a well-received film at such a young age, one could assume that she had a bright future in the industry, but that just was not the case. She starred in a great number of films in the 90s, before and after Jurassic Park. But even though she made a name for herself in Hollywood, she later realized she wanted to take up another hobby of hers to dedicate herself to, and that would be painting. This may seem like an odd decision to kind of quit acting right when your career is just starting to take off, but for Ariana, this was an easy decision, as whenever on set, the former actress would spend any time she had painting. Her work was so impressive that when on set of Jurassic Park, she actually completed a painting that was framed in Steven Spielberg's house, which is really cool. Ultimately, she went on to study drama and art in college and now makes a living from painting. So she made the right choice. Moving right along to one of the top 3 spots, and number 3 is Jamie Lynn Spears. Back in the peak of her career, Jamie's big break into acting was when she played the leading role in the wildly successful TV show on Nickelodeon called Zoe 101. The former American actress had to call it quits on the show and had the show canceled altogether. When Jamie found herself pregnant right after the end of the show, rumors spread that the reason the show was canceled was because of her pregnancy at a very young age, obviously. And many people believed this up until Jamie actually told the truth about this cancellation on social media. 10 years after the show ended in 2019, Jamie debunked these rumors by saying she did not find out that she was pregnant until after the show finished filming. That all being said, Jamie would not return to the spotlight and seemingly disappeared all those years to raise her child. Keeping away from social media was hard, as she is Britney Spears' sister, but Jamie tried her best to give her children some sense of normalcy. Now she's a mother of 2 and a wife, and she has a career in country music. She's actually a singer. Also in 2020, she joined the cast of a Netflix show, Sweet Mongolias, but she says she still plans on remaining out of the spotlight as much as possible. Honestly, I still think she got pregnant during the show, but okay. That's how I don't know. The timing was just too coincidental there. Moving forward, at number 2 is Tim Curry. The now retired actor played many prominent roles at the peak of his career in the 80s and 90s. Tim can be seen playing notable roles in the original Rocky Horror Picture Show and horror movie It, with also playing in Charlie's Angels, Clue, and Home Alone. At the beginning of his career, Tim found sudden success with Rocky Horror Picture Show, and that would lead him to devote himself to acting. With 236 credits on IMDb and roles in such iconic movies under his belt, with dozens of appearances on Broadway, it is easy to say that Tim has had a very successful career in this industry. He took on as many roles as possible, with averaging out around 6 projects a year, but suddenly in 2012 he would suffer from a debilitating stroke which affected his speech and caused him to use a wheelchair. Since the sudden health scare, he had to stop acting on screen for good, but he seemed to just not want to give up the spotlight. Even after his health conditions, he continued to give back to his fans, with making appearances at Fan Expo, Comic-Con, and other events. Even though the celebrity is no longer able to act due to his health complications, his mark on Hollywood will live on forever. Last but not least, number 1, we have Shelley Duvall. The former American actress is most known for her prominent role in the classic horror movie The Shining. At one point, she had one of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood. Yet the promising young actress retired in 2002 after failing to find prominent roles. In 2016, she appeared on Dr. Phil's show, and this would be the first time in over a decade that fans would see her since she retired. She opened up about her struggle with her mental health. When discussing why she left Hollywood, Shelley confessed that the industry wore her out. She revealed that the 1980 cult classic The Shining was actually awful to be a part of, as the director Stanley Kubrick did everything with force and cruelty. It has also been revealed that on set her co-stars were encouraged to not sympathize with Shelley, to put her mental state on the brink, with the goal to mimic the isolation of fear that her character was meant to express. In addition to that, the director demanded over 100 takes for certain scenes, causing extreme exhaustion and just traumatic experiences overall. This left the young actress feeling lonely and anxious on set at all times, which is why she left.